slug out. My name is Tony Thomas, and you're watching Hardwired Exotics on YouTube. What's going on? So today, Craig could not make it, and we had planned on Eric showing up for filming, and something popped up with him, so he wasn't able to make it. So today, it's just me, and I'm trying to sell film. So it's the first time that I've done this in a new facility using a tripod. So bear with us. I'm going to have to relearn all the angles and all that crap too, because I haven't filmed at all since I've been in here. Anyway, that being said, we've got a lot to go over today as far as heating your animals. I don't have anybody to bounce questions off of and stuff, so I apologize about that. Craig's really good about keeping me going. He's obviously the jokester, and I'm probably too serious, but anyway, in the old facility, I ran two separate rooms. I had a baby room and had an adult room, and those two rooms were smaller. I think they were 12 by 24. Could be off a little bit on that, but I'm not sure. But those rooms were smaller and actually had heating and cooling separate for each one of those rooms. And the reason for that was I always kept my babies a little bit warmer, and I really liked adjusting my adults, particularly the females, when it became breeding season. In other words, during certain time, I'm not going to get into a big spiel on that, but during certain times of the year, I like to be able to adjust the temperature, drop the temperature, and then I've never ran heat strips, or excuse me, I never ran heat strips in that facility, so I never really had any problem with slugs. Mother Nature naturally cools, and when we done that room over there, the very back wall of that facility, I did not insulate. And what that actually done was allowed the back wall to cool more than the rest of the building when it became wintertime, and heat up more during the summer as it got hotter. So I kind of created my own environment there and was able to run ambient temperature. This facility is obviously looks bigger, but it's actually square footage is not any bigger than what I had previously. However, it doesn't have a divider, so it's one room versus two rooms. And we installed a mini split, and it runs fantastic. Don't have any issues with it. But what I'm having issues with is the heating part of that unit. The variance in the temperature in the entire room is too drastic. And what I mean is I'm getting readings anywhere from 80 degrees to 87 degrees, even though that unit's only set on 71. But it's keeping this room 80 to 87 degrees, and it varies a lot. In general, most of these animals are staying 83 to 85 degrees, and that's great. And with the fans blowing and I'm circulating air as much as I possibly can, some spots in this room are staying hotter than what they need to be, and that caused my last two clutches to slug out. And I'm not used to that. That's something that I haven't had to deal with in a long time. So that being said, I had to make a decision as to what to do. I've been fighting this. I've brought in some extra heaters, electric heaters that plug into the wall. I've been fighting this because I really don't want to swap from ambient temperature. I like ambient temperature, but it's just not going. Everything I've done has not worked. and this room is not going to allow me to run ambient temperature. That being said, the only other option that I have is heat strips. So I've decided that I'm going to run heat strips on all these racks. Well, two issues there is, one, it costs a lot of money. I'm about $4,000 in heat strips and thermostats, because when I bought racks I was running ambient temperature and I didn't need heat strips. So when I bought these racks, I didn't buy the heat strips with those racks. And the two, it's a lot of work to pull all these racks out, put heat strips in, hook up your thermostats and all that. It's also something that, like I said, I haven't done in a long time, so I'm a little leery of it. I personally hate heat strips, I hate thermostats, simply because if it's running too hot, you are running a risk of hurting your animals, you're running a risk of getting slugs on your females. But if ambient temperature is going to create slugs, then I don't really have a choice. So that's what we're going to do. I've already changed up all the females, so everything behind the camera that way already has heat strips. And we're going to pull this rack out next and put heat strips in here. So I'm going to get that on footage for you, and then we're going to do this rack and this rack. Our baby rack, which this may or may not be able to see, but our baby rack, actually I'm not going to run belly heat on the baby rack. I've already installed back heat. I've actually had that in there for a couple of weeks, just making sure that works, because I really don't need any issue with these, because these belong not only to me, but I have customers that have already purchased some of these or making payments on some of these, so I did not need any issues with these. So I went ahead and installed back heat on this a couple of weeks ago when I first decided that we were going to have to do something. Back heat seems to be working really good on this, so there's that. So next up, here's some of the heat panels. These come from ARS.
Thanks for watching Hardwired Exotics, and make sure you subscribe. Bye!